All right, so now let's talk about how we can upload that photo which has been taken from either a camera or a photo library and upload it to the Firebase storage. Now, if we go to the console.firebase.google.com, check out the link over here for storage. Let's go ahead and click on that link. And you can see that the storage actually simply just tells you that there is nothing over here. I mean, there are no folders, there are no files, nothing. Let's check out the rules. And this is actually very, very important that you edit your rules and you make sure, for now at least, make sure that it says allow read and write. So what we are saying is that you don't have to be logged in to upload the photos or add stuff to the storage. You can just do it anonymous. That's perfectly fine for now. Later on, we can go and change that. But for now, we're just starting out. That's perfectly fine. Okay? So make sure that your rules are exactly like this. All right, let's go back to the files. No files are over here. The good thing is that since you're using the starter project, we have already added the Cloud Firestore as well as the Firebase storage. And that's the one, the Firebase storage, we're going to use right now to take the file and upload it to the storage. Now, in order to do that, it will be a good idea to create some sort of a view model. And the view model is going to allow us to add an incident. So I'm going to go to the view models, add a new file. I will say add incident view model dot. Now this particular view model, add incident view model, is going to represent everything that is going on the add incident screen. So I'm going to go ahead and create a class called add incident view model. I will go ahead and extend it and then use a change notifier. Just like with every other view model that we have done. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function for uploading a file. Now that function, right now, we're just going to start with void, meaning it's not going to return anything, but I'm going to change that in a moment. So for that function called upload file, we are going to pass in the file object. And this is going to be an async. And the reason it's going to be async is that it can take a little bit of time for the file to get uploaded. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure that we are importing dart.io. Okay. Now, once the file has been uploaded, it is going to give us a URL. And that URL, we're going to go ahead and place it in a download URL string variable. When we're uploading the file, we also wanted to upload it with a unique name because, I mean, maybe I can take a picture and I can call that picture mountains. And then some other person can also take a picture and maybe that picture is also called mountains. So we don't want those kind of collisions being happening. So I'm going to go ahead and say UUID equals to UUID. And we are automatically going to import the UUID package. The next thing we need to do is to create the file path. Where would the file be stored? Now we can create a folder over here where the file can go. You can see over here that there's an option to create a folder. So all your files will be in images folder. If you're uploading music, you can create a folder called music, and all your MP3s will be in the music folder. So you can organize it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and say file path equals to, go and create the images folder, and then inject the UUID.v4. So this is just a function that's going to give you a unique ID, and then save it as JPG. All right. The next thing that we need to do is we need to get a reference to a Firebase storage. Firebase storage.instance. Now we do have to make sure that we are getting that. Import Firebase storage. There we go. .instance.ref, and if we just say ref and pass in the file path, then it will be pointing to this particular folder that we have created. Next up, we will create an upload task, which will be responsible for uploading the file. So upload task equals to await storage.put file. Put file means it's going to start uploading the file. Now, upload task can have different states. So if the upload task, the one that we have created, dot state is equals to the task state dot success, this means that the file have been uploaded successfully. So we can get the download URL for that particular file, because that's the download URL. We want to save it in the Firebase Firestore database, so that we know that the incident for broken lights has a picture, and here's the URL for the picture. So we're going to go again and say Firebase storage.instance.ref, and then file path dot get download URL. Return download URL. And our function is currently not really returning anything. So we need to make sure that it is returning something. Since this is an async function, we'll go ahead and return a future of string. So this is our function, upload file, which takes in a file, which uploads it to the Firebase storage, creates the URL, gives you the URL. Now we obviously still need to fire this particular function. We are not calling this function. So let's go ahead and check out our add incidents page. Now, when we are going to the add incident, we have to make sure that we are using the provider pattern. So if I go to utils and app navigator, you can see that this is a registration page and the login page, but we don't have any code for going to the incidents page or adding an incident. So we have to make sure that we are doing it correctly. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to add some code over here, which is very similar to what we have been writing anyways, which this function is simply called, the navigate to add incidents page. The other thing we need to add is the add incidents view model. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that. And I think this is called add incidents. So this is it. I mean, this is what we have been doing anyways. All right. Okay. So now what we can do? Well, we need to make sure that we are using this particular function when we go from showing the incidents to the add incidents page. So let's go to incident list page and find out how we are going. So we're calling this function. And when we're calling this function, instead of doing this part, what we can do is use the function that we just created. So the function that we just created is the one that allows us to go to the add incidents page. This means that we can simply say app navigator dot navigate to add incidents page, passing in the context, and we will await for the result. And then we can say is or incident added. And if the incident is added, then we will display something. We will do something later. All right. Okay. Now let's go ahead, and what we want to do now is we want to make sure that the add incidents page consists of, and it does have access to the incident view model. So I'm going to go ahead and create the incident view model right here. There we go. And make sure that you mark it, where you basically import the package. Inside the provider, inside the build function, we can ask the provider to give us the add incident view model. So right over here in the build function, there we go. We can get the provider. Make sure that you add the provider. So this is the same exact pattern that we have followed numerous number of times for login, for registration, and we are doing the same exact thing over here. The reason that we're doing that is that if something is wrong for adding an incident, we can actually set some value, some property in the add incident view model, and then that can allow us to get a copy of the add incident and we can refresh it. Okay. Now, whenever we call, I'm trying to find the function which is actually getting called when we press the button. So if we scroll down, here is a function called save incident, and save incident is not really doing anything. And this is our opportunity to actually go ahead and upload a file. So if everything is validated, this is where we can go ahead and upload the photo to the Firebase storage. So this is where we can all do that. And I can simply call add incident view model dot upload file. So let's go ahead and call upload file, and I will upload image. Now this is an async function, so we're just going to wait for it, and we are going to get the file path. Once we get the file path, we are going to go ahead and display it. There we go. So let's see if it allows us to upload the file, and then when the file is uploaded successfully, can we display the path in the console? All right, so let's go ahead and try it out. Now our application is running. I am going to go to the add incidents page. And since I'm running on the simulator, I'm going to use the images that are already in the photo library. So add a photo, select from a photo library, and let's go ahead and add this particular photo. And I'm going to say this is a pothole. And I'm just going to say pothole on road. And I'm just going to go ahead and say submit. Okay, so the page doesn't really do anything right now, and that's fine. The first thing we will notice is this some long URL being printed out, which is the image URL. So it looks like it may have successfully uploaded the image to the Firebase storage. Let's go and check it out. Make sure you refresh it. And you can already see the images folder, which is great because we are organizing our images using images folder. You can call them incidents or whatever. And there is the image. You can see it's a unique ID. And now if I click on the image, I can actually see that it is the same exact image that I uploaded. So this is great. We were able to upload the image. Now the next step would be to not only upload the image itself, but also to upload this text, like some sort of a description, as well as the title, the description, and who is the person who is uploading these things. So one thing to remember is that we are actually not logged in. So we have to be logged in to do all of these different things. If we want to report an incident of a broken light or a pothole on the road, we have to be logged in. So we will tackle all of those things in that fashion. But the first thing we need to do is when you are uploading an image, we also need to upload the text and description of the incident and also the user ID of the person who is reporting this incident so that we know who that person is. So in the next section, we'll be looking at how we can add an entry into the Firebase Firestore database, and we will insert the title, the user ID, the description, and the URL of the image so that we know that who is uploading these images, who is reporting these incidents. So let's go to the next section and check it out.